Hey everyone, this is Gerardo speaking with RBB. This is going to be a very boring video of me yapping, maybe a couple of shots of the current shop upgrade that I did a couple of months ago, and a couple of clips of work that I've done through the years. Sorry to bore you with this one, but I do plan on doing more YouTube content, kind of like the last video that I posted a couple of years ago. I love watching YouTube, and I would love to be part of the community. Without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. A couple years ago, I posted a video on how I go about fabricating and installing metal handrails. At the end of the video, I said I would post a follow-up video on how I find and quote metalwork jobs. I took some time to create the video as I felt like I wasn't ready to speak on the topic. Since then, I have acquired a good amount of experience on the topic, and I feel like I'm ready to put the video together. This will be me explaining my experience. If you're a veteran on the topic, please let me know if I left anything out. Being able to weld and fabricate, talking to customers and potential clientele, typing up contracts and taking payments, sending invoices and scheduling the next gig are all separate skill sets, which in larger companies usually they have a whole team dedicated to each skill set. If you are new to the self-employment, it may seem like a lot to take in, but over time and practice, of course, maybe the first couple of times it might be a little rough, but with practice, you can sharpen up these skill sets. So we'll go ahead and start with the things that I found in my own experience and not to work. And this is not to talk down on these businesses. It just didn't work out for me. Angie's Lead and Home Advisor, they combined each other into one business a while back, and I did take on Angie's Leads / Home Advisors when I first started, and they made me pay to join, which is already a red flag in my opinion. No, they kind of sugarcoated it to make it seem like I'm gonna get a bunch of jobs and whatnot. The person who was putting me on their program, she was very pushy on to getting me into the program, saying, "Yeah, you're gonna get leads and you're gonna do the yada yada." But they just pretty much just sugarcoated their program. I spent a lot of money on accident by leaving my leads on. When I was in their program, they would only let me turn off my leads for 2 days max. So after 48 hours, the leads would automatically be activated and you would get charged just because someone clicked on your name. A lot of the times I felt like their own people they were just sitting in their office just clicking my name sometimes. I would, and sometimes you're busy working somewhere and you're not paying attention to your phone, and by the time you look at your phone, $80 it's out of your bank account. And they try to recruit me back into their program after I quit paying them, or after I just quit their program. And I just told them, hey guys, they were like, oh, if you go to the website, you can turn off the leads for up to 2 weeks. And it's like, well, I shouldn't have to do that. I should just be able to, make it more convenient. But it's not convenience that makes them money. It's making it more difficult, in my opinion, that makes them money. Like I said, there was leads that I would go check out. I spent the time and money to go check out a lead just for them never to call me back. But I still had to pay Angie's Leads and Home Advisor. And even though I wasn't getting the gigs, and these weren't cheap gigs. I mean, some of them were like $10, $15. But there were some that were like $50, and over time that adds up. I wish I knew how much money I spent on them. I should probably look it up, but I can guarantee you with their joining fee, which was like $200 or $300, on top of the leads that I purchased, it's probably well over $500. And when you're first starting out, that $500 goes a long way, and I do mean a very long way. So Angie's Leads is a no-go for me. It might work in your case, depending on how it is. I have met a lot of contractors who they say, oh, between the slow periods, like now between New Year's and say April or May, they turn on Angie's Leads because it generates them leads automatically. But you still have to pay for it, of course. So that's my biggest gripe with Angie's Leads, is that they're expensive and they don't seem to work. At least for me, they didn't work for me. It might work for you. Give it a try if you really feel like it. But in my opinion, steer away from them because they're expensive. God dang, I did it again. Try not to say because I know I just said a lot in the last clip. The next one is Google. Google is great in my opinion. You can list yourself on Google Maps, and once you are verified, either verified or certified, it's one of the twos, people will be able to find you through Google Maps and also through a Google search. My biggest gripe with Google is that I get spam calls every day. I mean, I do mean every day, regarding like lead generating programs and stuff like Angie's Leads and stuff like that. It's not legit though, because it's like they a lot of the people who call you have foreign accents, and I have nothing against foreign people, but you can clearly tell it's not a legit business because of the way they talk to you. You know, they're talking to you like, "Hey, is the owner of the business?" Like they don't even know they don't even know the name of the business. They're just calling a number. That's my biggest gripe with Google. You get a lot of spam call. I do mean a lot of spam call. They're soliciting themselves through a phone call, and they're actually kind of rude too. Like I've gotten to the point where I can answer it and I hear it click. There's a click that before that, before we answer the phone, they're calling you from a local area code, so it looks like a legit call. So if you answer it doesn't even say potential spam call, it just says like a legit number. You answer it, you hear it click, and then you hear people talking in the background, and immediately I already know it's a spam call. I normally, well, at first I was taking the calls and I was saying, "Hey, are you with Google? Because if you're with Google, I need you to take my name off this list because I am not interested in whatever service you're doing." And as soon as I would say that, bam, they hang up. And it would piss me off because I'm like over here trying to do something, but at the same time I'm trying to generate some work. The next job that are coming in, and I got these people spamming me and calling me and saying, telling me all this sort of things. Like same thing with Angie's Leads. Like, I'm not interested. Please keep my name off your list. And I've read some situations where people that are rude to them, who curse at them and like hang up on them, whatever, those same spammers will get on Google and give you a negative review because of the way you're doing. So they're soliciting you, and if you react a certain way, they will give you a negative review. I don't know how Google lets people get away with that. I really think they should need to dig into that. But other than that, Google is great. I've had a lot of leads, especially in busy areas like Alpharetta, where people would call me. They're like, "Hey, we need this done now." And people who usually need stuff done now, you could charge them for the urgent. You could charge them a little bit more for the emergency call. That all depends on what you're doing and how your schedule is. Of course, you can be busy across town. You're not going to stop doing what you're doing to go help someone else with their emergency call. So depending on where you're at in your career, Google is great in my opinion. I still have my Google profile up. I should put my secondary number on there because I do have two numbers. I should put my secondary number on there because that's probably a better way to get through the spam calls. All right, we'll do the social media next, and we'll start with social media ads. Personally, in my own personal opinion, social media ads do not work at all. The way Meta, or at least the ones that I've dealt with, like Meta, which is Instagram, Facebook, and all that stuff, the way I've seen it work is you're scrolling, you see a sponsored, there's like a little sponsor tag on it, and that means they paid for the ad. Now, me as a welder, my algorithm is the same as somebody who's maybe interested in buying handbooks, but since I weld, it's going to show me too, and it's going to charge the person who's paying for the ads regardless if I'm interested or not. I always try to give people likes because I know they pay for it, but it doesn't work in my opinion. I've tried it out. I spent about like $50 on some Facebook ads and some Instagram ads, and other than maybe gaining a couple followers, a couple likes, it doesn't work in my opinion. You can give it a try. Let me know how it works. If it's worked for you, let me know too, because it might help me out in the future. But as of now, I'm not doing that. Instagram, which is an app that I use all the time, has been great with generating leads in my experience. Lots of folks like to see what you're doing, the process of work, like cutting, welding, all that can easily be shared through your phone. Tags can help connect with other entrepreneurs from across the globe. I've actually met a lot of people that share the same interests through Instagram in person. Like I've actually met them in person. And these people have even become my friends. People who suggest how to do certain things, things that I've learned from other people. They've become friends, people who I've shaken their hands in person, so I know they're real people. The downside of Instagram is that it's very, very, very distracting. I can't tell you how many hours I've spent just doom scrolling for no reason other than I'm addicted to it. So that's the real downside of Instagram. Uh, I like it though. Like I said, I enjoy sharing. I like to say good morning to people. People react to it too, which is really, really nice. And if you haven't followed my Instagram, go ahead and maybe consider following at Red Barn Builds. I post daily on there, and I like sharing pictures, and I like following people who are also interested in the same stuff that I am interested in. It's helped me connect with a lot of contractors. It's helped me connect with a lot of designers, with a lot of laborers, people who do all sorts of different kind of work. And I really like that because, if you go to a job site, you meet somebody, and then once you're done with the job, you forget about the person. But if you follow them and they use their social media platforms constantly, then you get to see what they're doing. And then there's a bigger probability that they will hire you for the next gig if they need you for something like that, for whatever you're doing. But I like Instagram, but like I said, it's just really distracting. But that's something that's a little bit like you can control yourself. The next one is Facebook. I haven't really messed around with Facebook a lot. My Instagram is connected to Facebook, so everything I share on Instagram automatically gets shared to Facebook. I don't really have a big following on Facebook. I should probably get to using it more. But I know a lot of people who do use Facebook, and they do very well with generating leads. The biggest upside of Facebook is Facebook Marketplace. I have generated a lot of leads through Marketplace just by chatting with people who are interested in what I'm doing. I am aware that Facebook does not allow you to post labor for sale, but what is allowed is a finished product. And if you post, for my example, I post my handrails on Facebook, and there's people who are interested in having these handrails, but they don't know who to talk to. So they chat with me, and I ask them for linear footage or something or even a picture. I can eyeball about around how many feet you need just through a picture, and I can give them a price before I even step out of the house or out of the shop. They already have a price of a budget, and if it's within their budget, I can then schedule a meeting and go and check out the job and be able to speak to somebody in person, shake hands, chit chat, whatever. If they have any questions that they might have come up with in between the time that I chat with them and meet them in person, then I can answer them then, and that way they know that I'm a real person and I'm not going to run off with their deposit or something like that. Because I have heard all the horror stories of people who give money to a contractor and they just run away with it. And believe it or not, about like 60% of the people who I've done work for, they tell me that, and they're like, they're kind of like iffy about giving me money, and I understand 100%, but it is a part of my process to give a contract and a deposit. So I always tell them that through Marketplace, actually. So that way they are aware of what they're getting into and are not caught with surprises, is what I'm trying to say. Another social media platform that I'm planning on using is this YouTube. I am planning on using YouTube as a digital diary. I know there's probably a better word to say than diary, but planning on using it as a digital diary because so that way people who don't know me, they can see what I've done and that I'm trustworthy, and if they even want to work with me. That's what I'm planning on doing with YouTube. I'm planning on documenting all of the work on how I go about finding a lead, going to go see the job, taking measurements, getting the material, fabricating, sending it to powder coat, installing it, and then being like, voila, here's a walkthrough of the job. That helps me it puts me in check, so that way I can do things correctly, and it sets a standard for the way I'm going to be doing things. That's what I'm planning on doing with YouTube. This video is more like trying to help people who don't know where to go and don't know how to start. That's what my plan is with YouTube. Hopefully it works out. I'm not trying to be a YouTube star. I'm just trying to document it for my potential customers and for anybody who is wanting to work with your boy. word of mouth has been really great to me. It's really slow at first when you're first starting out. There's not that many projects under your belt, so the word of mouth doesn't really work out as it should. But I know a lot of folks who run their entire biz off of just word of mouth. They don't do any advertising. They don't have any shirts or anything like that. It's just purely word of mouth. And if you do good work, the word will spread and you will be hired more often than not. I'm sure I'm leaving something out of word of mouth, but if you have any experience with word of mouth, please put it down in the comments below to let the newbies know. The next one would be networking. It's kind of the same thing as the social media thing, where you find somebody who's doing the work and the word will spread pretty much. I have connected with a lot of welders all across the Southeast and really across the states. And I've gotten leads from people who I've connected through social media, because sometimes they're just too busy to do the job, so they just pass it on to me, and vice versa too. There's a gentleman who he does more I-beam work, and I specialize in handrails. He specializes in I-beam work, and he was too busy to do the job that one of his clientels wanted him to do, so he passed it on to me. And there is a contractor that I know who wanted me to do I-beam work, but I was like, hey, I really specialize in the handrails. If you want to do the I-beam, I know a guy that can do the I-beam work, and that's how networking works. I always tell people, don't look at other potential competitors as competitors, but look at them as peers, because eventually either they're going to need help doing a job or you're going to need help doing a job. And it's always better to know people who are skilled rather than having to go find someone who you have to babysit and have to trust them that they do a good job. Rather than doing that, you can have a welder who his cost. You can implement it into your bill, and that way you can even make a percentage off of his labor while still paying the person and getting the job done. So networking is really important in my opinion. Designers, builders, people in the trades, real estate, even real estate agents. I know a lot of real estate agents get a lot of hate, but when it's time to close that house and code is not up to code, that's when they're going to need you. So the next one would be business cards and banners. We'll start with banners. I have a banner in Alpharetta that does a lot better than the banner that I have out here in the new shop in Athens. The banner in Alpharetta and the banner here in Athens are both in a very busy street. If you guys are familiar with Highway 9, that highway leads all the way to Atlanta. That banner does a lot better than the one here. I think the reason why the one here doesn't do as well is because there's a railroad between the banner and the street. And it's kind of far away. You can't really see it very well, even though it's bright red. The one in Alpharetta does way better because it's right off the road. There was a lot of people who do like tree business that would require my help because, those people break stuff all the time. The banner is good. If you have a banner, if you have a busy street, put yourself a banner, you're going to get work. I got a lot of work in Alpharetta because of the banner. I probably have to just find a better way to display it here in Athens, but I'm not really, in desperate need to do that. The real reason why I put it out there is because Google required me to put it on there before I got a listing here in this location. The business cards, I had business cards when I first started, but after I gave my last one out, I just didn't even get any more. And there have been people who ask me, hey, can I have a business card? And I'm probably dropping the ball by not having them. But I don't know. I'm not a big fan of business cards. I just give them my Google or my social media, and I tell them follow me there. But I think the physical aspect of having a business card, I think that's way better than having something digital that doesn't mean anything. If you have a physical copy of what you do and your name and whatnot, I think that's a better way to go about spreading the business. So I'm probably dropping the ball by not having business cards, but I just don't know. I just don't care for business cards. Never have, but I'm sure I need them. Folk have just taken pictures of my business shirts. I have, all my information on the back of my business shirt, and that's really that's all they need. They just need your name and a picture of what you do pretty much. So I don't do any ads on my truck. I have gotten stuff stolen off my truck, and I feel like it's like target on your back when you have an ad on your truck. And I just don't care for that. I will say though, if you have an ad on your truck, it makes you look 100% more professional than if you just pull up with a random pickup. Because if you pull up with a random pickup, you look like a schmuck who just threw their tools on the back of it and started charging people. That being said, my truck doesn't have any ads on it, but maybe in the future I'll get some ads, even if it does feel like a target on your back. I just need to get a nicer truck. Being in a busy town is super important when you're doing business. I know a lot of people hate on bigger towns like Atlanta for the right reasons, I think, but there is no denying that that's where the money's at. Being located here in Athens versus in Alpharetta, you can clearly tell the difference between being here in Athens versus being in Alpharetta, because Athens feels like it's about 30 years behind from Alpharetta. I know a lot of folk who just travel states just to do work in Atlanta, so that speaks for itself, I think. That doesn't mean there's no work in smaller places, but the scarcity of the work is going to be a little bit more difficult versus a major city like ATL. I still travel to Atlanta from Athens here, and that hour and a half drive kills me every single time I have to make it. Go out, shake some hands, be proud of what you're doing, and the work will come. Patience is really, really important when doing all this, because not everything is meant to be. Find a way to quote people for whatever you're doing without having to necessarily show up has helped me increase my productivity and save time and money, of course. If I missed anything, please leave it in the comments below, like I said before. I know, like I said, this video has been really long. I'm going to give you guys a tour of the shop here before I quit making this video. I did upgrade to this shop back in July of 2024, and it has been a game changer for me. It was kind of expensive at first, but it is allowing me to be more productive, and I'm able to do stuff a lot faster. So I think the price is worth it. It's 1,800 square feet, and it's all just for me, pretty much. I was able to purchase a forklift. I got a CNC plasma cutting table. I got a actual fabrication table, not just some benchtop metal table. And I was able to fabricate this stand here where I can put my computer, and it's enabled me to be able to put this YouTube video together too, because that was the reason why I built this desk. And it's just been nice. I like it. I like having this space where it's separated from home, so I can clock in and clock out and not have to take the work home with me. And like I said, it was a lot to chew at first, but a lot of people online were very supportive in making the move to this bigger shop. And I'm hoping that eventually in the future we'll get an even bigger shop, but only time will tell. Like I said, I'm going to use this YouTube channel a lot more. I'm going to be posting my next gig on the YouTubes, and I'm going to be implementing all of these things that I have posted on this video to my own lead generating operation, because I'm actually in a slow season for me right now. So we're going to start generating some leads, baby. Anywho, you guys, I really do appreciate you sticking. If you stick around to the video, please give it a thumbs up. Consider subscribing. And if you hated the video, hit that thumbs down. Tell me what I did wrong. And yeah, I hope this video helps you and your journey through the welding world. And if it does help at all, please let me know. I will definitely be subscribing to some people's YouTube channels. And like I said, please consider following on Instagram at Red Barn Builds. I post almost daily there. And yeah.